Shalom. This is the brother Ra'aya
Brother Amawad
of GMS New Orleans coming at you with another lesson. But before we get started, as always, we're going to give all praises, glory, and infinite honors to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahawashi, Bahashem, Rakahakadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule and teach well. And peace and salutations to you sincere Akim out there, pushing this word in truth and sincerity to the four corners of the globe. May you brothers endure until the end. And to the few sincere Akwat out there diligently learning in silence. Shalom.
Shalom.
And with this lesson, we're just going to go into what's your memorial, what's your remembrance going to be in the kingdom of heaven. Because we know, all Israel's going to be saved, but you've got the elect of the nation of Israel who are going to have that memorial of standing firm on this side, not giving in to Esau, Edom, or his system. And then you've got, the wicked of our people, those that gave into the system, that were put to death on this side. And in the kingdom, they're going to have, that eternal memorial of what? Of a shame, of, giving in, of cowardice. And, as we get closer and closer to the end of things, and with the way things are looking, 2024 is going to be a very, eventful and prophetic year. We always think about these things, but how much more now when we at the door of all hell breaking loose? Esau coming down in great wrath, bringing in martial law, bringing in the mandatory implementation of the MOTB and the persecution, where your faith is really going to be put on the line, and there's going to be no more fence sitting. Either going to be on the right hand or the left hand. And that comes with what? Again, having that right-handed memorial, one that stood firmly and didn't bend the knee to Baal, didn't bend the knee to Esau's system, or what? You did bend the knee. You're on that left hand with that eternal memorial of shame.
God. Let me get that Daniel.
Oh, yeah, we will start off with that Daniel.
God. It's the book of Daniel, chapter 12. And I'll start at the top. And at that time shall Michael stand up, the great prince, which shall stand it for the children of thy people. And there shall be a time of trouble, such as never was since there was a nation, even to that same time. And at that time thy people shall be delivered, every one that shall be found written in the book.
Hey, again, we're coming into these terrible times of Jacob's trouble, where it's going to get so bad that, as it says, even the archangel Michael is going to have to stand up to protect the elect. So there's going to be a lot of trials and tribulations, and having your skin in the game, so to speak, to where you're going to have to be making those decisions that are going to last for, they say last for a lifetime. It's going to last for, eternity, what you're about to do. And as it says, and at that time shall thy people be delivered, everyone that shall be found written in the book, which is what? The book of life. That elect number, those that stood firm and are going to have that memorial for standing firm, that everlasting name, as it's about to go into.
It says, verse 2, and many of them that sleep in the dust of the earth shall awake, some to everlasting life, and some to shame and everlasting contempt.
And we know that dust means what? Confusion. And we were all in a state of confusion, but what? We woke up. We heard the word that we were Israelites, and we, woke up and are doing our best right now to, stay firm to Yahweh Bahashem, Yahawashi, and hope to be at that elect number. And then you got those that what? Woke, have heard the word, the word is freely out here, but what? They still want to stay in that confusion. They still want to stay buried in that dead state. And that comes with a recompense for it. As I said, those that awake to everlasting life and those that awake to everlasting contempt. That memorial in the kingdom of heaven is, oh, you were a mo on this side. You were a hoe on this side. What? You were a thug, a gangster, a drug dealer. You were one of these scumbag rappers. You were a coon, a bedwench. Hey, all that is being recorded right now, and that's going to stand as your memorial in the kingdom of heaven. So you really got to think to yourself, with this time of grace and liberty being open right now, hey, what path do you want to walk down?
Quick one for you.
Con, you got it.
Just to back what you just said. This is St. John chapter 3, verse 19. And this is the condemnation, that light is coming to the world, and men love darkness rather than light, because their deeds were evil.
Hey, and this is the condemnation that came into the world, that men love darkness rather than light. And we can see that with the majority of our people out here. Hey, our apostles and elders and their elders have been out for what, 30 plus, 40 years, 40 plus years, all the way down to here we are in 2023 going into 2024. This word is freely available, and pretty much everybody has at least heard of the Hebrew Israelites in some form or fashion. But what, you still got Jake wanting to follow after these other philosophies, try to save America and be a part of this system, looking for another way around, another way to find salvation. They don't want to get in line and get in order under the subjection of the laws, statutes, and commandments. It's too grievous for them. That order is too grievous for them. So what? You're going to get, the penalties of not following after the ways of Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai. Contempt and death.
Yeah, just for you to be in 2000, it's almost 2024, you have our people still caught up in Christianity and Hotepism, the Democratic Party, all of these strongholds, Greek fraternities, Haile Selassie. There's no excuse for you to be following madness when the Lord actually, it says, this is the condemnation that light is coming to the world. All right, going back to what Isaiah, arise and shine, the light has come onto you.
Mm-hmm.
Yahweh Shai is that light, and he's giving his light to his men. And there's thousands of Hebrew Israelites that are preaching this word every day in truth and sincerity, round the clock.
In different languages.
Yeah, different languages.
Brothers in sign language. There's not a method that can be a method for the word to be taught that's not being used right now. Every single tool is being utilized by Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai.
Yeah.
And the ultimate tool, the unicorn of the internet, has spread this word from one end of the earth unto the other. So there's really no cloak for anybody's maliciousness out here. What did Yahweh Shai say? Now that I've come into the earth, people have no more cloak for their sins.
Yeah, real quick. This Romans 10 and 18. But I say, have they not heard? Yes, verily, their sound went into all the earth, and their words unto the end of the world. Point blank period, through that unicorn, the internet. And it further says it in Psalms chapter 19. And there's the night and day, their speech, every language, in every language is their voice heard, and their speech has gone out into the ends of the earth. But men love darkness.
Exactly.
Now you hear the word, the word gospel means good news. All right, it's only good news for the elect to hear that America is going to be destroyed and the nation of Israel is going to rule. To a coon, it's horrible news. What do you mean the white man's going to come out of power? What do you mean I got to keep the commandments? What do you mean I can't worship my wife anymore? I can't be a servant to her? What are you talking about? It's grievous unto them, like you were saying earlier. It's the love of the Most High is that His commandments are not grievous. So if you hate the commandments, you're not going to be written in that book of life, and it's already written.
And the sick thing about it is all the problems Jake complains about, it can be answered if we lived under a society governed by the laws, statutes, and commandments. Woman problems, money problems, business, all that has a law for it that, when set in place, has society working in harmony. But what does it say in Jeremiah? Is Jacob a homeborn servant and a slave? You Jakes have become comfortable with your prison cell. You've got Stockholm syndrome.
Yeah.
But you still got that Daniel 12.
You can go back to it.
Khan, you read that verse 3, and then we'll jump to that second Esdras, Baba Kasha.
This back in Daniel 12, verse 3. And they that be wise shall shine as the brightness of the firmament, and they that turn many to righteousness as the stars forever and ever.
The elect, the 144,000 of the elect, shining, the apostles have talked about, brothers have talked about, they're going to have that glow about them, a literal glow, to know that, these were those men that stood firm in Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai. And then, the rest of the elect, they're going to have that memorial as well as those, those brothers and sisters that stood firm to the word of Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai. And they're those first fruits. They didn't have to come back in those Hebrew huggies.
Yeah, it says, Yahweh Shai said in Matthew 5 and 19 that those that keep the commandments and teach them are going to be called the greatest in the kingdom of heaven.
But those that don't are what?
The least in the kingdom.
Mm-hmm.
So there's an order in the kingdom. We're not all equal. Jake got this equality demon on him, man. Esau's really pushed that word so much. Women want to be equal with men. Niggas want to be equal with prophets. Everybody just has an equal demon on them, man. The Lord didn't create anything the same. There's no two things that are identical in creation. Everything has its own order.
And we can see that on a low level. Look at athletes. You've got
Yeah.
some athletes that are just superior to other athletes in all categories. That's
Yeah.
why they're in, a higher position, while, some people just never make it. It's as simple as that. Some people are just more intelligent than other people. Nature itself shows that there's no equality. You have predators and you have prey. There's no equality in nature, so there's no equality with Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai. There's a hierarchical order of things. And was it further saying, I believe, First Corinthians 15, everything in its own order.
Yeah, every man in his own order.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a beautiful point. When you read what is that, Ephesians or Colossians, it says you can know the mind of the Lord by looking at creation. You can pretty much figure out the workmaster by looking at his workmanship. So when you look at nature, you look at there's a season for everything. All right, there's a cycle of life. Like the brother said, there's predators and there's prey. You have the apex predator. There's hierarchy everywhere in nature. But then when it comes to the Israelites and the ministry, all of a sudden, oh, no man can't tell me what to do. I can't have a man over me. Jake just bugged out, man. There's an order in everything in creation.
But then when you go to the job, you expect that, you respect that hierarchy, Esau being the boss of the job, and you break your neck to get to that job, to get that paycheck.
Yeah, I've never heard of Jake in my life go up to their manager and say, you know what, I ain't no man over me. You can't tell me what to do. Esau tell you to come in, get some overtime. Jake is like, oh, time and a half. But then when it comes to the order of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, that's crazy. Oh, I don't like the camps. I don't listen to man. You listen to the so-called white man every day of your life, Jake. But that's a whole nother topic.
It's sickening.
Yeah.
But hey, backing up that Daniel chapter 12 verse 3, they shall shine as the stars in the firmament, those that have turned many to righteousness. We're going to get this second Esdras chapter 2, start around verse 42, which a lot of brothers are familiar with, that crowning ceremony that's coming, which that's going to be recorded down. And this is a once in a lifetime opportunity. We've had the many reincarnations where Jake went through captivity to captivity, but this is the final one before the kingdom of heaven. So there's going to be no do-overs after this one. Everybody that's going to get beamed up on the chariots, that's going to be the only time for it to happen. And everybody that's of that elect number and going to receive that crown.
Yeah, it's going to be the greatest moment in history, and it's only going to happen once. So when you think about the magnitude of what we have coming, what's promised to us, and the fact that we're going to live forever, do you want to live forever as a nigga, as somebody that was just like some guy in America that caught a missile, or you want to live forever as a man of the Lord?
How much more to you Jakes out there that fell out of the truth, that once knew this word, that you were on camera, you were on the block, you were doing lessons,
breaking it down,
backwards and forwards, upwards and downwards, as Willy Wonka said, slant ways and sideways. You were hitting it at every angle, but now you back in the world about to celebrate Christmas. That's going to be your memorial in the kingdom. And this is just me speaking as a man. I don't know how things are going to play out, but we know all our works are being recorded. So you just ponder on things. It's like, we'll be able to look back at ourselves doing lessons like this.
Mm-hmm.
And, however it plays out, I think, Israelites, probably even the heathens too, will be able to look back at these works. Because everybody's going to know who the 144,000 are, the rulers, and that was them doing the great work. So what if they have it to where they have a 144,000 man of the Lord in the video, and then somebody who used to be in the truth in that same video too, and that same footage you can go back and watch, and then
what happened to him?
Where's he at? And then you go find that Israelite father, like, that was you. Well, why aren't you of that number? And then what Jake? Only thing Jake can do is put his head down.
Yeah,
that's a scary thought. That's a terrifying thought.
God. Yeah, Jake goes back in the world for $19 an hour. Jake goes back in the world for a woman that's got a body count of like 85.
And probably cheating on him.
Yeah, but that's boo. She wants your Saturday.
That's my rib. My rib.
My rib.
My rib.
Yeah, you Jakes are sick in the head, man. All right, there's nothing in this world that remotely compares to Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai and what he has promised to us. There's nothing this world has to offer us that can compare to even what we're about to read right now in Second Esdras.
What can compare to being a literal God on earth, a little G God on earth? What can compare on this side to spiritual powers? What can compare to ruling over nations of people, living for eternity to see generations come and generations go? and then to be able to snap your finger and have a major decision that affects hundreds of millions of people halfway across the planet take place at your beck and your whim. What on this side compares to that? A fucking rat contract where you got to rent your money out, that you can't even use all your money in the bank account. That doesn't compare to that. This worthless status on this side doesn't compare to that. And that's the heights of Jake on this side, which is going to be a damn used toilet paper compared to what's coming in the kingdom of heaven.
What's crazy is the heights that Jake can reach on this side. He can only reach them when he sells his integrity. He sells his ass. He gives it up to these hunchback counterfeits, right, behind closed doors. Yeah, the little hook-nosed psych, just a little weirdo. He's having his way with LeBron James, Drake, and all these niggas you niggas look up to, man.
Holding their hand by the wrist.
Yeah, holding them like on some pimp shit. Like, this nigga's almost 7 feet tall, and he's just getting bent over and rawed out by Amalek.
They getting that Pulp Fiction treatment.
Yeah,
literally.
That Ving Rhames, all right? This is what's going on. This is what goes on behind closed doors, all right? All of these pedophiles and rapists run the entertainment industry, they run the sports industry, and so to make it, so-called make it in this society, you have to completely give up your manhood and your dignity. But the Heavenly Father is offering us something that not only is He giving to us, but it comes with manhood. You don't have to sell your manhood out. Your manhood actually increases when you start to serve the Lord. It's the first time you really become a man, is when you keep the commandments.
As it says in Ecclesiastes chapter 12, this is the whole duty of man, to follow the laws, statutes, and commandments of Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai. And further in, I think it's in Romans, it's like they run for a corruptible crown, but we run for an incorruptible crown. So everything that, the most so-called successful Jake in this society has worked for is just ashes. It's just dust and ashes, and it's not going to be remembered. And I mean, look at this now. Of course, you got your Michael Jordans and your Michael Jacksons, which, they're still so-called remembered. But look at all those other, celebrities and Jakes that are forgotten after generations. And if this society were to go on for another couple of 100 years, they would be forgotten in time. Yeah. Everybody and everything of this life is forgotten in time, but everything in the kingdom is going to be remembered for eternity.
God. Just real quick, this is what you just said. This is 1 Corinthians 9, verse 24. It says, "Know ye not that they which run in a race run all, but one receiveth the prize? So run that ye may obtain. And every man that striveth for the mastery is temperate in all things."
Temperate in all things, reigning in your members, not giving into the lusts or the cares or the affairs of this life that take men out of the walk. It's like, the job, the woman, so-called bullshit status, all that. They remain temperate and run that race diligently. They see it through to the end.
God, it says, now they do it, talking about those in the world, those so-called higher up Negroes, those that are so-called successful in Esau society. It says, now they do it to obtain a corruptible crown, but we an incorruptible.
That corruptible crown, which everything on this, everything in Babylon, everything in the world and in time, is everything in Babylon gonna be destroyed by those nukes, and then those thousands of years building up the kingdom is gonna erase every inch of these heathens' rulership from times past to the present, and the only thing that's gonna remain is the kingdom of heaven. And what's the first fruits of the kingdom of heaven? The elect, running for that incorruptible crown,
that remnant.
Khan.
It says, I therefore run, not as uncertainly, so fight I, not as one that beateth the air.
And not uncertainly, we are certain of the things to come. So, I'm kind of losing my thought on it. You may remember, it's like we know pretty much, I'm gonna just leave that there, but hey, we're certain of the things to come, that these prophecies are gonna be fulfilled, especially now, seeing that everything, beginning with our apostles and elders on down to us, brothers that have been in for a couple of years, a couple of months, everything we've been preaching on the block is coming to pass right before our very eyes. Prophecy is becoming so prominent out here that everybody that's into the so-called alternative news or anything like that can't help but mention prophecy when they talk about these events that are going to take place. They're using biblical terms. Some are even bringing up, scriptures, all that. The end of days, Armageddon, the apocalypse.
Yeah, Apostle Peter said what? We have a more sure word of prophecy.
Khan.
And every day that goes by, it becomes more and more obvious that we've been preaching the truth all along. You know, when you first come across the truth, whether it was 3 years ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, you just believe by faith. You hear it and it sounds like it makes sense, but you don't actually see it. Today we see it. We see everything we've been talking about. We see chariots. We see, you know, the blockchain technology, the mark of the beast infrastructure being built right in front of our face.
World War III.
World War III is here. It's happening right now. Like, the news doesn't say, hey, it's World War III. That's not how world wars are reported. It starts as a skirmish, economic war, treaties, tariffs being broken, you know, just little skirmishes here and there. But if Russia's at war with Ukraine and America is sending weapons to Ukraine, what does that
NATO.
mean? Yeah, that means we're at war. We're at war with Russia. Okay, you can't send weapons to somebody in a war and they say, but I'm not in the war. Like, what are you doing?
Exactly. Like, that's like hiring. You want to kill somebody, but you hire somebody else to kill him.
Yeah.
Even though that person killed him, who they wouldn't have killed that person unless you hired them.
Yeah.
Like, what kind of stupid logic are we using here?
Yeah.
And just to back up what you said, World War II wasn't called World War II until after World War II. It was just known as the war back then, like the Pacific War, the European War. It wasn't until after World War II it was known as World War II, so it's no different now. We are in the midst of World War III, but as the brother was saying, they're not going to say, oh, you know, we're in World War III, we're at war against Russia.
Yeah, it's day 10 of World War III. That's not how that works, all right? We know it's World War III because it's in the Bible as the third woe, the Battle of Armageddon. But these people, they just think, oh, well, America's always at war anyway, so this is just like when we went to Afghanistan. This is just like when we went to Iraq. This is just like, no, this is actually World War III. This is the war to end all wars. And it's going to culminate with Yahushua coming back and destroying all of these people. And we're going to be joint heirs with him. Abaratazah were of that number. So, I mean, what manner of person ought you to be?
And the event, the war to end all wars, and Yahushua is coming. The event to end all events.
God. You want to get that?
Yeah, we'll get that second Esdras Baba Kashah. And this is what, you know, this is that incorruptible crown we're fighting for, to be personally crowned by Yahushua. Can you imagine that? Like, you did your due diligence to the point where Yahushua going to tell you, you know, this is, again, me speaking as a man, the things I imagine, Abaratazah, where that number, how it's going to play out. But, you know, Jake going to be on the knee. Yahushua, he's going to be yoked out with the shoulder pad, the golden shoulder pads. He's going to have your crown. And he said, well done, my brother, you know, my son, my fellow kinsmen, all, like, Yahushua telling you, well done, brother. Like, you did the work of the Father. You did the work of our Father.
That's wild. Like, what could compare to that, Jake?
A damn playoffs ring, a Super Bowl.
No, your jersey hanging in the rafter, and you shed a tear. And, come on,
with
man.
a broken body, you can't even. You got brain damage. You like that for the rest of your life. You've been. I was gonna say something.
Man, this is 2 Esdras chapter 2, verse 41. The number of thy children whom thou longest for is fulfilled. Beseech the power of the Lord, that thy people, which have been called from the beginning, may be hallowed.
Hey, be hallowed, be separated. Hey, the elect that have been called from the beginning, those spirits, you know, in the beginning with Yahushua, you know, finally coming into their own. Hey, their joint rulership with Yahweh Bahashem Yahushua.
God. It says, I, Ezra, saw upon the Mount Zion a great people, whom I could not number, and they all praised Yahweh Bahashem Yahushua with songs.
God.
And in the midst of them there was a young man of a high stature, taller than all the rest, and upon every one of their heads he set crowns, and was more exalted, which I marveled at greatly.
And I believe it. I heard Apostle Tahar. It may have been Apostle Tahar. I heard that made this point, but it was, you know, it was a apostle or an elder brother that made this point. The crown you're going to receive is going to be a custom crown just made for you. And when you see that crown, you know, Yahweh Bahashem Yahushua knows our thoughts, our likes and our dislikes. So when you see that crown, it's going to be, if you were to make a crown, it's going to be everything you ever hoped for and then some.
God.
And then what? I think, you know, there's going to be angels blowing the trumpets, like just in a golden palace. However it's going to look, it's just going to be, you know, magnificent, splendid, opulent. Any word that just defines rulership and dominion is just what that scene is going to, you know, contain.
Yeah, we can only, you know, scripture say we prophesy in part, everything that we have on this side is likened unto something corruptible. So you might think of a college graduation, you might think of some type of ceremony, but really it's going to be unlike anything you can imagine, because this is the Heavenly Father himself giving power to his son, and it tells you that he gave the elect to Yahushua. And that's you can't put it into words, man. Like what do you have to compete with that? There's nothing. That's the end goal.
Word it like this: what can compare to the son of the creator of existence putting a crown upon your head?
Nothing. Then, like the brother said, it's your crown. It's not something that, in this society you work for. Let's say you work your ass off to become the world champion boxer, and then somebody else can come take it from you. You got to defend the belt. Floyd Mayweather, he defends his world title. No, man, this is yours forever. There's no contender. No one is gonna come and challenge your crown. It's yours. That's man.
Exactly.
It says, and in the midst of them, I read that one. This is 44. So I asked the angel and said, Sir, what are these? He answered and said unto me, These be they that have put off the mortal clothing and put on the immortal.
They running that race to receive that incorruptible crown. That incorruptible crown, those incorruptible bodies, that incorruptible rulership, that dominion.
It says, and have confessed the name of,
Wait a second. Somebody got to turn the video off right now.
Yeah, here we go. And have confessed the name of the Most High. Now
does it say names?
Name.
Name. One name.
One name. His name one. All right. Yahweh. All right. And the son's name is one. Yahushua. Not Jesus. Not Christ. What type of crown is Christ going to give you? He's
going to give you a
character.
501c3.
Yeah,
that's what he's going to give you.
That's the definition of a corruptible crown. All right. Jesus Christ is the name of a slave ship. All right. The good ship Jesus. How is a slave ship going to be the name of our salvation?
How is a name that begins with a letter that didn't exist until around 500 years ago going to give you an incorruptible crown?
Yeah, the word Jesus is made up gibberish. All right, you have the Greek word Jesus and then a made up letter just added onto it. Jesus. It doesn't mean anything. It doesn't have any power. And you Jakes are going to see that very soon, which a lot of you in that day you're going to call on Yahushua. You know that's his name, but you're playing with his name. And the Lord's going to make you call on Jesus in that day. Even though you know it's Yahushua, he's going to make you call on Jesus Christ. That's why it tells you in Judges, go call on the God you've been serving.
And even if you are able to, utter the true name, what's it say in Matthew? Many shall say, Lord, Lord, in that day. Did we not cast out devils in your name, Salaki? And prophesying said, I shall not know you.
Yeah, I never knew you.
I never knew you. Get away from me.
Yeah.
Y'all gonna get left behind.
Yeah.
The real left behind.
Yeah, it says, and have confessed the name of the Most High, now are they crowned and receive palms.
And by confessing the name, what does that mean? That means you did the works. You stood firm. You did what Yahweh Bahasham Yahushua commanded you to do. You didn't water down the doctrine. You didn't mingle it with weak wine or leaven or anything like that. Confess the name, you confess the word, and you stood firm in Yahweh Bahasham Yahushua.
God. It says, Then said I unto the angel, What young person is it that crowneth them, and giveth them palms in their hands? So he answered and said unto me, It is the Son of the Most High, whom they have confessed in the world.
Whom they have confessed in the world. What was it say? Matthew 24 verse 14. And this gospel of the kingdom shall be preached, shall be confessed in all the world for a witness unto all nations, and then shall the end come. And back in that Ecclesiastes 12, the whole duty of man is to follow after the ways of Yahweh Bahasham Yahushua. So that's what's going to get you that salvation, and what? Get you that eternal memorial to shine like the stars in the firmament.
It says, Then began I greatly to commend them that stood so stiffly for the name of Yahweh Bahasham Yahushua.
Hey, to commend them. And this is, the prophet Esdras, commending them. So how much more, existence itself is going to commend those men that stood firm in Yahweh Bahasham Yahushua, that eternal memorial. And not only is the memorial going to be eternal, but the men are going to be eternal. It's like with, George Washington now. Yeah, you can read about him, but he's been dead. Yeah. His ashes are chemtrails.
And his wooden teeth.
But when you read about the elect, they're still going to be alive for eternity. So you'll be able to see the men
Yeah.
whose works you read about,
Yeah.
and you'll be able to talk to them. Yeah, I'm not talking about some random heathen coming up and having a conversation, but your sons and your daughters, and other Israelites and stuff, and you'll be able to tell them, look, you were there in Babylon doing the work that they're reading about. You'll be able to give the intricate details and all that. And then one Jake might ask, well, where was I in all this? And then well, hey, that was you. And then you come to find out you were RuPaul.
Man,
what's that gonna make you put your head down?
But man, think about the way that children look up to superheroes in this society. How they look up to the X-Men, Batman, Spider-Man, Superman. In the kingdom of heaven, that's going to be us. All right, there's not going to be some fictional universe that our children are going to look up to. They're going to read about the mighty works that we're doing now. They're going to read about the works that we do during Jacob's trouble. They're going to read about Samson, King David, the men of old. This is going to be the curriculum. All right, it's going to be the history as well as the comic book fantasy. All right, the men that young children and young boys are going to look up to are going to be the men of the Lord. All right, in this society, people look up to fictional characters. They look up to athletes that have taken the knee, that have spread the cheeks,
that have magnetic basketballs, so they make sure they go into the net.
Yeah, everything's fake here. In the kingdom, people are going to look up to the real superheroes, the real stars, the real celestial beings, which is the Alahayim, the 144,000.
And you made a beautiful point, which when we get that Sirach chapter 44, it's going to go into it. What? You read about Samson, read about King David. Those events with those mighty men took place thousands of years ago, but we're still reading about those events today. That's a prelude to what the memorial of the elect is going to be in the kingdom of heaven.
Yeah.
Even people that don't believe in the Bible know a Moses.
Yeah.
Atheists know a Moses. They know a King David. They know the Israelites. And that, so again, how much more the elect in the kingdom of heaven, in that power.
Yeah, there's not going to be any atheists in the kingdom of heaven. Everyone's going to know, they're going to look at the Israelite man and see Yahweh. So they're not going to disbelieve. They're just going to believe further. They're going to see, they're going to read about things, and they're going to see the same men that performed the acts that they're reading about. This is the book of Sirach, chapter 44, starting at the top. It says, let us now praise famous men and our fathers that begat us.
Hey, praise famous men and our fathers that begat us. Hey, the mighty men, the great men, the prophets of old, praising them all the way up until this very day. Even heathens, praise, King David, praise Moses, So, hey, again, how much more the elect? How much that eternal memorial is going to be incomparable to anything else.
It says, the Lord hath wrought great glory by them through his great power from the beginning.
Hey, to back up what you brought out earlier, those that were from the beginning, they were created from the beginning to fulfill their role. They fulfilled their role in the past, and they're back here today to finish fulfilling their role, so they can finally sit back, and enjoy the fruits of their labors, and be praised for it.
It says,
we can jump down to verse 8.
Verse 8, it says, there be of them that have left a name behind them, that their praises might be reported.
Hey, there be of them that have left a name behind them, that their praises might be reported. And again, we have the great men of Israel of old, and it's going to be the same with the elect. Right now, we're building up that legacy. There be of them that have left a name behind them. We're building up this legacy right now, so when we're in the kingdom of heaven, that their praises might be reported. The acts of all the elect are being written down right now, and that's going to be their memorial in the kingdom, on top of actually, again, speaking as a man, being able to see those works, those things being reported, and then being commended greatly for them.
Real quick, this is Revelation chapter 14, verse 13. And I heard a voice from heaven saying unto me, write, blessed are the dead which die in the Lord from henceforth. Yea, saith the Spirit, that they may rest from their labors, and their works do follow them.
Can you speak on it?
Yeah, so even if you die after you put your hand to the plow, if you die in this ministry, even if you die during Jacob's trouble, if you're one of the martyrs that gets decapitated for not taking the mark of the beast in your right hand or your forehead, your works follow you. There's nothing in this kingdom that's going to follow you, because this kingdom is going to be destroyed. All of your works, the overtime you put in at the job, all right, all the ass kissing you do on Valentine's Day for your woman, none of those works are going to follow you in the kingdom of heaven. if you're destroyed on this side, you're not even gonna know. You're not gonna know who your wife was in the kingdom. You're not gonna know. Oh, I used to work at Home Depot. I used to work at this job. None of those things are gonna exist in the kingdom. This ministry is actually still gonna exist forever. There's gonna be a point 20,000 years in the future where brothers are gonna say, you remember Babylon when we was chanting down Esau? Esau had all this power over us. We went out there. We didn't have no guns. We just went out there with Bibles, man.
Jake gonna be laughing.
Yeah, yeah. You're gonna hear laughing miles away.
With the goblet full of thousands of year old wine,
Yeah.
just reminiscing on stuff.
Yeah, because when we get spiritual power, and you think back to a time where you didn't have spiritual power, all you had was faith. That's gonna be something that it's impossible to describe it. Because imagine you have electricity running through your veins, you have the power to bend reality to your will, and then you look back on what you were doing when you were a mortal man. I had none of this power that I have right now. I had none of the fame. I had none of the money. I had none of the physical prowess. I was just a regular mortal man, and I went out and stood up against the rulers of this kingdom. I stood up against Satan. I did all of that just off the faith that was given to me. That's an everlasting tale that you're gonna have to tell your sons. That's something you can't wrap your head around it, man.
Hey, you stood up against the physical counterpart of the spiritual demon Satan, Esau. You stood up against the spiritual demon Satan as well.
Yeah.
You know, not letting those fiery darts take you out.
Yeah, because Satan covets us. All right, Satan already has this world. He has all these people.
That's why he was able to give it to Esau.
Yeah, kind. So for us to stand up to the spiritual demon Satan and stand up to Esau, that's only through the fear of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. There's nothing else. It's not of us. So we're gonna glory in Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai forever.
Yeah, I just got two more.
I got one for you.
Kind.
So you want me to get something else or?
No, you get your precepts.
Okay, 1 second. This thing is fucking tripping.
Yeah, I actually get one of these right now while you find it. This is back in Ecclesiasticus of Sirach 37 verse 26. A wise man shall inherit glory among his people, and his name shall be perpetual.
A perpetual name. Perpetual means ongoing, continuous,
Never ending.
never ending.
The true never ending story.
Yeah, that's what we have to look forward to. Like we were saying earlier, in this society, you become champion, and then the next year there's another champion. So you dedicate your whole life for one moment, one Super Bowl, one championship bout, and then next year somebody else is champion.
And don't have a scandal.
Yeah.
Don't get a sexual harassment charge.
Yeah.
Anything like that. Your famous reputation has become an infamous reputation.
Yeah, just over the word of a woman. She doesn't have to have proof. We were just talking about that. We live in a society where a woman could say, I was uncomfortable, and you just all of a sudden you're a criminal. A woman could say, 20 years ago he raped me. You can't disprove a negative. You can't prove that you didn't rape someone 20 years ago. So just like that, your life is over. All of this fame that you got, all this money that you got, next minute you're in jail for committing a crime that there's no evidence of.
And they're selling your stuff on eBay.
Yeah.
All that stuff you worked hard, broke your body for.
Yeah.
Now some Edomite has it, collecting dust in his collection.
Yeah, and then you turn into Al Bundy talking about, the touchdown that you scored 20 years ago.
With your hand in your pants while you sit on the couch.
Yeah, madness, man. This world, this is not a world for men. This is a world for sodomites, women, and Edomites. This is not a world. This world will crush you if you're a man that desires power. You want to be a conqueror. You want to be righteous. You want to execute the judgments of the Heavenly Father. This is not our rest. All right, our rest is in the kingdom.
And if I could just get one point here, a wise man shall inherit glory among his people. This reminds me of that dream the brother had a couple of years ago, where he said, Jake was in the kingdom. Every Jake looked beautiful and was righteous.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, I guess from his point of view in the dream, he was flying. And he was flying over the Jakes,
Mm-hmm.
and the Jakes all started pointing at him. It's like, that's one of them.
Yeah.
Speaking of what, the 144,000. He said as he was flying over him, all the Jakes started bowing. Hey, that's
what's coming.
a wise man shall inherit glory among his people, and that's going to be for eternity. Hundreds of thousands of years from now, millions of years from now, Googanillions years from now, that's gonna be what remains.
Yeah, and you got to think, our children are going to be raised under the law, statutes, and commandments, which means our children are going to prosper. our children are going to be famous. All right, you have 100 sons. All 100 of your sons are going to be famous, great men, and they're going to give glory to you. They're going to be raised hearing about what you did in Babylon the Great. That motivates me, man. I would love to have a perpetual name in an everlasting righteous kingdom. Who wouldn't? Well,
it's in every man's spirit to be remembered.
Yeah.
You know, so-called remembered after he dies, remembered during his life as a man who did great things. But how about this? You're remembered for great things and you never die. So you have that reputation following you for the rest of existence, and existence is never going to end.
But yeah, this is the one I had. This is Sirach chapter 18, verse 9. The number of a man's days at most are at 100 years, as a drop of water unto the sea, and a gravel stone in comparison of the sand. So are 1,000 years to the days of eternity.
Hey, as I said, a number of a man's days are at most 100 years, as a drop of water under the sea, and a gravel stone in comparison to of the sand. So are 1,000 years to eternity. Hey, eternity, thousands upon thousands of years, like the blink of an eye of just your memorial.
Yeah, just imagine a drop of water in the ocean. If you take a drop of water, you don't see it. It's like it doesn't even exist. So 1,000 years to eternity. So we're talking millions upon millions of years in the future. Your name is going to be perpetual, and every man is going to bring forth his own nation. It tells you that in Isaiah 60. So if every man is going to bring forth a nation, you're going to be a patriarch. You're going to be the progenitor of your own nation, Jake. That's what we're fighting for. All right, look at our forefathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Jacob is remember why? Because the Israelites are a great people. All right, Jacob actually wrestled with an angel. He did physical acts during his life that are amazing, but the reason that he's remembered is through his progeny. He through his loins came the greatest people to ever live. So how much more in the kingdom when all of us become our own nation and every single Israelite is being ruled by the law, statutes, and commandments? That's eternity, man.
Hey, through Jacob's loins came Moses.
Yep.
Through Jacob's loins came King David. Through Jacob's loins came Yahushua. Through Jacob, we come through Jacob's loins.
Yeah, and that's going to trickle down in the kingdom. All 12 tribes, 144,000 men are going to be the progenitors of their own nation. Every one of those nations is going to be righteous, and our names are going to be perpetual. That's hard to even wrap your head around in this society, man.
But shit, I got mosquitoes again. Getting hectic out here. I got two more Ezekiel 36 and 31. Yeah, just one verse. We're going into, the eternal memorial of those that stood firm for Yahweh Bahashem Yahushai. And this verse is, going to talk about, that other memorial that's coming for those that did bend the knee, those that did give in to Esau, Edom in this wicked system, those that came out of the dust to the, that perpetual shame and contempt.
This is the book of Ezekiel, chapter 36, verse 31. Then shall you remember your own evil ways and your doings that were not good, and shall loathe yourselves in your own sight for your iniquities and for your abominations.
So hey, just like the elect are going to remember the works they did and have that memorial, hey, our people, though they're going to be righteous in the kingdom, they're going to remember their acts, and as I said, they shall loathe themselves in their sights for those wicked acts that they committed.
Yeah, because if you're righteous, it's just like us right now. Like we're not so-called what this world would call perfect, but we do have our eyes set on righteousness. So we look at the things we did in the world with shame. So when you wake up, you 2/3, when you wake up in the kingdom and you have an understanding of righteousness, you're going to look back at your life in Babylon. You're going to loathe yourself. Like, man, I was a sodomite. What the fuck? I was a gangbanger. I was a nigga. What the hell? Yeah, your ways are not good.
And after time, Jake, that I'm not gonna say the shame's gonna lessen, but Jake gonna enjoy the fruits of the kingdom and everything. But I think there's gonna be moments where you just have, even in your life right now, there's some times where you ponder in your mind and things you did in the past come to you. You feel like shit for a little bit of a second. I think it's gonna be like that. Like, all Israel's gonna be good. And after a time, everybody's going to enjoy the fruits of the kingdom. But there are going to be them moments sometimes where you just have those thoughts like, man, you feel bad for a second. And, that's going to remain.
You'll be all right.
Yeah, you'll be all right. But right now, while you have time and we know everything's through the will of Yahweh Bahashem Yahushai, while you have breath in you, hey, make an effort to do what you can to be of that elect number, and you know, to receive that righteous memorial, that perpetual name of righteousness.
Yeah, go out swinging, Jake.
Swinging at these damn mosquitoes. Yeah, we about to get out of here. We can get Zechariah chapter 12, verse 8. Shit, one of my personal favorites.
This is the book of Zechariah, chapter 12, verse 8. It says, In that day shall Yahweh defend the inhabitants of Jerusalem, and he that is feeble among them at that day shall be as David, and the house of David the house of David shall be as the Most High, as the angel of Yahweh before them.
The house of David that stood firm, they shall be as the Most High. And that's going to be for eternity. No losing that title, no losing that reputation.
Yeah, it tells you in Wisdom of Solomon too that the Most High created us to be eternal after his own image. So when that Zion, when that monument becomes as the Most High, we're going to be eternal.
God. Yeah, any closing points you want to make?
That's it.
And so with that, we hope you sincere Akim and Akwath were edified by this lesson. And again, as always, we're going to give all praises, glory, and infinite honors to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahushai, Bahasham, Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule and teach well. And peace and salutations to you sincere Akim out there, pushing this word in truth and sincerity to the four corners of the globe. May you brothers endure to the end. Shalom.
Shalom.
Hey, fight for eternal righteousness.
Forever, ever.
And ever.